Hey, what it do, guys? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha, the God, man. I just read Week Hero chapter 61. Week Hero is hard to keep up with because the days it uploads seems to be all over the place. Is it Tuesday and Thursday? I think it might be Tuesday and Thursday. I'm probably all over the place with figuring out when the fuck that shit uploads. But yeah, 61 came out I think last week actually. So I'm gonna do 61 and then we'll drop 62 probably tomorrow. Excuse me, or later today. I dropped a gaming video, so please go check that shit out. Please do check that out. It's the latest video on my channel besides this one. So if you go to my channel and check that out, that'll be great. It took ages to do, and it'd be great to get a few views in that bitch too. You know what I'm saying? If not, I probably won't do much more gaming videos because it takes way more time to do than reviews. But if the fruit isn't even there, it's like, you know what I'm saying? I did Uncharted, the first one, the very, very first one, Drake's Fortune. You know what I'm saying? I want to do the whole anthology and then do stuff like maybe, I don't know, Detroit Become Human, maybe Dragon Age, whatever games you guys are into. Uh, I can do that. You know what I mean? But it all depends on y'all. I could also do FIFA career mode, but I don't think you guys would be into that as much as I'd be into that. You know what I mean? So, anyways, back to Week Hero. This chapter is was mainly about Sam, aka Grape. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy that led the assault with Forrest Lee. You know what I'm saying? He was the second in command for Forrest Lee. Now we find out kind of the difference between Forrest Lee and Miles. Miles' power was higher because he was stronger. So obviously, as a result, more people feared them and the school, etc. And they were less prone to get touched by people like Wolf, it seems. You know what I'm saying? This new character that we meet, Wolf, who used to go to the same school as Sam, and he used to low-key kind of bully him. But when Miles was around, it seems like he didn't touch him. He didn't go near him. He didn't like step up and just act up. But Forrest Lee, he already beat Forrest Lee up just for looking at him for 3 seconds. So he has this 3 second rule where if you're looking for 3 seconds, he's gonna whoop that booty. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna whoop that candy ass. So that was interesting to learn about. Um, so that's basically what we discover in this chapter. We learn a bit about Sam and how the system works, I suppose, the power system, power dynamics, and sometimes when you gotta make changes. Now the advantages of Forrest Lee was that more income goes everybody's way within the system in the school. You know what I'm saying? So Forrest Lee made sure that all his henchmen got paid well, but Miles did things by the book, I suppose, and actually paid them what they were supposed to get paid, and not rob the Dan, is it Dan, the main guy, the main villain guy who runs the fucking the head, the number one guy, you know what I'm saying? So as we learned as well in last chapter that our boy Weak Hero himself, the Weak Hero, the White Mamba, he's number 15 ranked in the whole district right now. So I wonder where Ben Park is at, you know what I'm saying? Because Ben Park been beating all the strongest number ones right now, you know what I'm saying? So he must be top five at least. And he's beasting out here, you know what I'm saying? Wolf looks pretty strong, but I don't know if he's stronger than Miles. Miles looks pretty beastly, you know what I'm saying? So this is some interesting stuff to look forward to in the next few chapters as we learn more about these characters. Now, not too much happened this chapter, minus that really, but there was a big meeting that Dan held up for the whole committee, you know what I'm saying? And basically, they're getting new companies or something like that. They're switching companies, or there's a change that's going to be happening within the system. Now, we know that Ben Park refused to join the union, and that's one of the reasons he's kind of doxxed, you know what I'm saying? They obviously offered it to him, and he just said, nah, not him in his school. And for a long time, him and his school were left alone because he's there. But then obviously people have been getting bold, and people within the school themselves are pushing buttons to try to get Ben Park removed as the number one. Even though he never claimed to be number one, he didn't say I'm the one in charge. Everybody knows he's like the unspoken number one. His class, as we know, nobody bullies anybody, nobody talks shit, nobody annoys the teacher, nobody does nothing because Ben Park is in that class. Nobody even tries to test him. You know what I'm saying? Because boy is a beast. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Ben Park. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting to see just the other side of the story, the other side of the park, the other side of the fence, you know what I'm saying, seeing how they operate and how he has his own problems, Sam has his own problems, you know what I'm saying, and how to settle with less power, which means more threat against via enemies or other people trying to bring the school down. for the sake of higher wages and better treatment. You know what I'm saying? That was Miles. Miles was lower wages and stronger. Forrest Lee was better treatment but weaker. You know what I'm saying? So that's the interesting part of it. It's almost like a business, right? And we see Dan with his tatted up, looking fresh as a motherfucker, looking like a fucking world star supermodel and shit, flexing on everybody, just telling, leading the shit. And apparently he just beat up six people before. Oh, no, no, sorry, Gerard. Sam actually talks about how Gerard was actually supposed to fight six people. He ended up only fighting four because two of the scouts that he sent actually bailed on the mission. So the results probably seems to be the same, going to be the same anyway because Yellow Cat Lover was there with him. So obviously, as a result, like the chances are the fight was going to end up the same. You know what I mean? So that was the interesting part about it. But he was like, oh, we could have won if that wasn't the case. But obviously, Ben would have dealt with everybody anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it makes a difference what happened because it looks like Ben could solo half of these motherfuckers. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's crazy out here in the streets, man. This shit is exciting, bro. It's giving me the early Lucasism excitement and more so about the fights than Lucasism simply because this is portrayal as more of a fighting focus, kind of like Dako from the jump. Unlike Lucasm, where the start it was more about yes, there was fighting and bullying, but it wasn't super mainly about fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a big part of it, but it wasn't as central as it's become now. You know what I mean? Which is a little bit to the detriment of the story, but hopefully Weak Hero Weak Hero already established itself as fighting being the number one thing, essentially, you know what I'm saying? But it's also focusing a lot on the backgrounds and what's happening with the system, the school system, the pay system, you know what I mean? I always wonder, is this shit legit happens in Korea? Like, is those shuttles like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. Or is this like olden time in Korea that like people just kind of reminisce about, you know? Because it's probably slightly older people that make their stories. I'm sure things aren't the same right now, but it'd be interesting to know, you know, different cultures, different things. I know back at home in Africa, when I grew up there before I moved here, you know what I'm saying? Most of my life was in Ireland, you know what I mean? So completely different experience. But when I was there, we used to get our ass whooped in school. You know what I'm saying? You miss a question, you getting whipped with a stick, you getting you know what I mean? That was normal. I was a nerdy ass bitch, so you know, I was the one that chose the weapon. You know what I'm saying? And the teacher always said, if that weapon isn't sturdy enough, I'm gonna break it on you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna test it on you. If that shit breaks, I'm gonna break the rest of it on you. You know what I'm saying? So you know it is what it is. It was interesting time, so it's like it's different, like different places have very different experiences. Now if people here would probably say that's appalling that a kid is getting beat up at school by their teacher, but for me that was like normal as fuck, like so it didn't bother me. To this day it doesn't really bother me to experience it, but I ended like that I experienced it, but understand how other people it might affect them negatively, etc., etc., etc. Because again, here people got more time to think in the first world, which affects them differently about about things. You know what I'm saying? Back at home, like you got to think about what am I going to eat, what am I going to this, how am I going to succeed, how am I going to strive, how am I going to, you know what I mean? So you got so much to think about that shit like that just feels irrelevant. You know what I mean? It's like women's right and shit like that. Like here, people are complaining about men spreading when women out there are getting the ass whooped by their husbands and you know all type of getting mutilated, all type of shit. You know what I mean? So it's like there's just a difference in tears of pain, right? Or tears of agony, or tears of stress and shit like that. So I just want to understand what's Korea's state today in comparison to maybe how it was 10, 20 years ago. That's just shit that interests me, you know what I mean? Anyway, look, that's my weak hero take. It's just because I just read so many Korean manhwas or mangas where, excuse me, webtoons where essentially there's always some kind of bullying, there's always some kind of shuttle, there's always some kind of like hierarchy. It's like, do you remember back in the old school days when all American movies was a bully throwing someone in a locker, which is not really as prevalent today? You know what I'm saying? But that's used to be something that used to happen. Like a lot of people would attest to that's just how school was, right? So Hollywood reflected that, and now Korean projects are reflecting that. So does it? You know what I mean? Usually, not always. Usually, uh, you know, fiction reflects reality in a lot of ways. So that's why I'm just posing this question. If anybody knows or has any news about it, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I'm so interested in like cultural differences and certain shit happening. Like the scandal. I don't know if you guys heard about the scandal in Korea, I think, about that them rooms, them secret rooms where people get killed, raped, all type of shit. illegally, like in those 200,000 people in Korea that use that website. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, like the type of shit that be happening out here in this world. You know what I mean? Like the first world brings a whole new set of problems that are probably a bit more awkward to deal with because cyber is just hard to deal with in the first place. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, because I felt like this review was very short, so I thought I should talk about add a little extra spicy, get it to that 10 minutes, and also give you guys some extra information that you might have not known, as well as me pose a few questions that you might want to answer. You know what I'm saying? Discord, baby, is you being your boy Supreme with Jihad the God. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Yeah, hit that shit with the people's elbow, or hit that bitch with the Sharingan flex. I'm out.